All right. So, we've talked a lot about, making sure that these 20-year-old women are getting the nutrition they need and getting the mental functional and the stuff that they need to produce healthy babies. Um, and so, one of the things I want to make sure we ran through was the physical activity function. So, pelvic floor issues, like we've talked about the pelvis before, how your core is actually your pelvis and everything that attaches to it. It's not here, it's lower. So it's not your abs, it's not where your belly button is, it's below your belly button or on your pelvis. And so the some of the core musculature that we have in that is the pelvic floor. Um, and what we see with women who have a properly functional pelvic floor is their pregnancies are much easier, their births are much easier on average. Like everybody still has like pregnancy is still chaos, but on average, the birthing is easier, the pregnancy is easier, and the post is a lot better. So like I make the comment about how we've had a decent number of 26 to 28 to 30-year-old women roll through here who tell me that they pee on themselves a little when they laugh, or if they jump up and down, they're like, I pee on myself a little bit at 28, and you're like, what happened? It was, well, I was fine, and then I had a baby, and this is what happened. Well, of course, like that's the thing, because what happened was you didn't get the education on pelvic floor strengthening that you probably should have gotten. Or you did and you didn't do enough on it. Like I'm not trying to say that zero pediatrician, no, I'm sorry, zero OB-GYNs, zero midwives, none of these people are teaching pelvic floor function, but that seems to be, let's just put it this way, we're not doing enough pelvic floor strengthening. Okay. So the easy way to remedy that is to start, you can do some of these things at home. Kegels are a great one. And you can do this every time you go to the bathroom if you wanted to. And I would recommend that. Like, for instance, if let's say I'm just picking ages, you're 26 and you're like, hey, my husband and I are thinking about having a baby in a year. Great. Every time you go to the bathroom, urinate a little bit, stop the flow of urine, urinate a little bit, stop the flow of urine. That's the musculature that you've got to work on for Kegels. And, and Kegels are great. And, I want everybody to understand how much Kegels are great, how much we love them, but they're not the only exercises. If all you did was Kegels, you would be better than if you didn't do anything, but you wouldn't be as good as if you did all the things, right? So Kegels are great. You can do them whenever you're going to the bathroom. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, damn, I already screwed myself up. I'm one of those women who pee on myself a little bit whenever, I laugh. So I wish I would have known that beforehand. You can do these and it will often remedy the issue. So, by the way, if you pee on yourself a little bit when you laugh or something like that, and that happened after birth, like that's a pelvic floor issue by flat out. So find a pelvic floor specialist and they can fix that. Anyway, so like do the Kegel thing, right? And squats are another great one. Now the depth of the squat on that does matter. However, I'm going to tell you that you should go all the way to the floor and then come back up. So drop your butt, like the whole ass to grass thing, right? Get your butt really down low. And then come all the way back up and then get to the point where you don't have to hold on to anything. Then we can build up into single leg step ups and that type of thing. But the reason why we want to go all the way down and all the way back up is because, well, not that entire range is critical for the pelvic floor. That entire range is critical for all of your function. Because if you say get a little heavier when you get pregnant, or later in life, or for whatever reason, you need to be able to have the ability, if you slip or anything else, that to have that full range of motion functionality, because we talk about full range a lot. And so along that full range, you're going to get a really good hit in the pelvic floor. You're going to get really good function in the hips and the knees, the ankles, get the whole thing going. Because here's the thing you're going to recognize is that as you get pregnant and as you go along, you're going to start having things puff up. And so as those things happen, you want to make sure that you're having good lymphatic movement through the entire body. If we're honestly, a couple times a week or a couple times a day, you're doing, 30 squats, great. That's going to help move all that fluid. You're not going to you have a lower propensity of having the swollen ankles, of having the swollen legs, of having the lymphatic issues. So make sure you're doing those full range, full function, because yes, pelvic floor is in a specific range, but again, we have to take care of the whole body. And so that's going to be really, really helpful. Plus it helps your metabolic function. And if you're moving your whole body like this a lot, that's going to be knees and hips. Remember your knees, femur, hips, femur, pelvis, femur. So you want to get that whole motion function going, because as the whole pelvis gets stronger, as it starts moving around. So think about this, like some of the people don't recognize this. As you get further along in your pregnancy, you start producing a hormone called relaxin. Relaxin does exactly what you think it does. It relaxes everything. Well, if your pelvis is like iron steel tied together and it still kind of slips out every once in a while, as it starts getting loosey goosey, man, it like we see from a back pain, pelvic pain type of stuff, we see the graph goes like this, right? Because it's obviously much, much higher at the end of the pregnancy than it is in the beginning of the pregnancy. Well, here's the thing. If your pelvic floor, if your musculature around your core is tight, if your legs and butt are like worked out and they're good to go, you're going to have a lot less problem with, the relaxing causing back pain and hip pains and knee pain than you would if you didn't do that. So this is one of those big deals. So as you're starting to go through this is one of the things we do. So, and real quick, if you guys are watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, my sister, my best friend, like they need this information, send them to us. This is one of the things that we do. Like, I'm leaving here to go talk to fertility clinics about having their patients come in. Vive 5 is going to start helping pelvic floor strengthening classes with us. Some of the midwives are working with us. The pediatrician's offices are working with us. So like, this is a big deal. Like, we're moving in this direction. So if you guys are wanting some help on this, hit us up. We'll help you guys get where you need to go. But the other thing that we see a lot is bridges, the cat-cow stuff, so, those where you're laying on your back and you're pushing your pelvis up and you're coming up to a bridge, planking is one of those things. But here's the thing on planking. We talk about this a little bit, but I want to make sure everybody hears this. If you've never done these, planking is not the first thing to start with. Planking is a higher level exercise that you need to get some of this stuff strengthened around it before we start throwing planks in. So, planking is fantastic. I love planking, but not everybody is ready for it. That's one of those things, like, as we walk people through this, like, we go, what do you do for a workout? And a lot of people go, I don't really work out. Okay, great. Planking is probably not where you need to start. So as you're going through and doing these things, and you can Google these, doing them, this is the thing, right? Because we talk about form and we talk about getting your form washed all the time. Outside of the Kegel stuff, have somebody work with you and watch you on your form on this stuff, because doing it right is the most important thing. So if you do it wrong a lot, you can create a problem, or if you do it right a lot, you can correct the problem or build yourself up. So, and you don't have to have somebody watch you every time you do it. Just at the beginning, while you're learning to do it, like, am I doing this right? And as soon as you do it right enough, that's the motor function you've built. That's the habit you've now built. You're going to do these exercises right for you're going to have a much higher propensity of doing these exercises properly in the future. So, those are going to be really, really important. The cat-cow thing is great. One of the things that I work on with pregnant women when they have back pain is doing that cat-cow, because all you're basically doing is you're supporting of your knees and your hands, you're supporting your core, and then you're just kind of going flexion, extension, flexion, extension. So you're just kind of, moving it back and forth, and that helps move out, irritations, inflammation. It helps move nutrients in and out. It's a fantastic exercise. So there's a whole list of these things. Vinyasa flows are great for pregnant women. They're pretty okay for the pelvic floor, but they're really, really great for women who are going to get pregnant, because as you're moving through these vinyasa flows, especially if it's warm in the room, you're getting all your lymphatics to move around. You're getting all your fluids and all this stuff to start moving around. And as you start doing that, you're going to have less inflammation. You're going to have less joint pain. You're going to have more functionality. When you give birth, it'll be easier. And then one of the big things is that because of what that exercise does, you're going to have less postpartum issues. We need to walk into pregnancies thinking that we can actually prevent postpartum issues. And the reason that we do that is like, okay, what do we know? We know for a fact that metabolic function, or your diet and that type of thing, plays a giant role in postpartum. We know that exercise is the number one thing that we treat depression with. So if we can get you exercising all the way throughout your pregnancy and afterwards, bang, that's going to be a major benefit to reducing postpartum issues. If we understand, hey, we need to teach the guys, and this is one of the things we do, is we teach the guys how to take care of the wife. The woman is going to take care of the baby, because we can't breastfeed. The guys can change diapers and stuff, but we can't breastfeed if you're doing that. And the mom has a very, very specific role with baby when it starts. So if what we're going to do is say, okay, bottom line, there's a whole lot of other things we can do, but bottom line, mom takes care of baby, husband or dad takes care of mom. If we can get that established and then teach the dad how to take care of mom, we're going to have a lot healthier moms, which means we're going to have a lot healthier babies. And it's always funny because people are like, you're going to teach the dads how to take care of the 100% we are. Because when I talk to dads, new dads just hang out. I'm like, here's all the things you need to know. Like, damn, thanks for telling me. I would never have known that. But that's not true. We would know it. And we do know it after the babies, after we've had the first kid, after we've had the second kid, and somebody starts talking to us about it. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known. Like one of the things I tell guys all the time, because I had to learn this the hard way, is one of the ways you can take care of your wife is have her go grocery shopping. They were like, what? I'm like, I know. What I did wrong was I thought, man, I'm going to go grocery shopping. I'll get everything so that she doesn't have to, right? That sounds like obviously I'm doing a favor for her because we need some stuff at the house and I want to make sure that we have it so that she doesn't have to worry about it. Well, here's the thing I didn't recognize. She'd been in the house for like 4 days with just her and baby. Like she needed a reason to leave, and going grocery shopping was her reason to leave. And so factor that type of stuff in. Like again, dad takes care of the husband takes care of the wife, wife takes care of baby, dad takes care of mama. So, all right, what is she going to need? She's going to need a little bit of escape, and she's going to need some time with her friends. And so if your wife, like again, the first week or two, she's not going to want to move anything because she's all torn to hell. So whether she had a C-section or she had a vaginal birth, like she's not ready to go out dancing. Let's just put that out. Even if she's not going to drink anything, which is we'll tell that later, but she needs to be time to go sit with her friends and hang out. She needs time to go read a book. She needs time to go get a massage and kind of relax. And so those are some of the things that we got to have to start factoring in. Like, okay, when are we going to add these things in? How are we going to do this? One of the other fun things that you notice is that, because I've been dealing with women, this whole, like for a long time, and I talk to all the moms, is one of the things that helps break that postpartum is when you send them out and they're like, oh, I have the whole day. I'm going to go do me for the whole day. The vast majority of them, not all of them, a lot of them will go out and they start missing baby. And they might not miss baby enough to be like canceling their plans and coming home, but they start to miss baby. And so then when they go back home, it doesn't feel like a punishment. It feels like a reward. And just that small mental change from I have to take care of this thing to I get to take care of this thing radically changes how everybody feels. It changes metabolic function. It changes, the emotional content, and it's much, much better for both baby and for mom. So giving mom a little bit of break is really, really important. So, as we're starting to go through these exercises and things like that, this is one of those things that we need to recognize that this is a thing we need to do even after you give birth. Again, like I said, you're going to be all tore up inside. So maybe planks and maybe, single leg squats isn't going to be something you do the day you come home from the hospital. Maybe it is, but probably not. So we got to give yourself a little bit of time to heal and regenerate as we go through. And so that's kind of the thing. If we can start taking the 4 pillars and applying it to, pregnancy and being like, what are we going to do for mama? We're going to get in for baby. We're going to get mama as clean as we can diet wise and supplementation, nutrition, chemically wise, right? We're going to get, the exercise built up so we can get all that function going. And we're going to start taking care of what we can do to make sure her mental state's in the right spot. That builds society for the future. That builds the legacy. So you get all 4 of them by taking care of pregnant mom or taking care of mom before she's pregnant. So these are big things that we can start. If we start kind of recognizing, the health of our nation starts before they're born. It starts with taking care of these women who are going to be mama and then carrying them through. So however you want to look at this, if you want to look at this as a women's issue, you should. If you want to look at this as a health of the nation issue, you should. If you want to look at this as a, building families better, like whatever, however you want to look at this, that makes it a positive function, because all of those things, if we take care of mama right, all of those things get better. So this is one of those things that if we can start focusing on it, we're going to make a lot of really positive change in the health, in the psychological, physical, and mental, metabolic health of our nation going forward. So this is why I think that if we want to change what's going on with their elderly and with our 20-year-olds, we got to start before everybody's born. And so if we can start to focus on that piece and growing forward, we're going to be a great place. So if you guys have any questions, hit us up, questions@chalmerswellness.com. If you're trying to figure out how you can be part of this and get the education and everything, hit us up. You can, drop in the comments, pillarsofwellness.com, get a hold of us. And if you guys are in the Frisco area, give the office a call, and, pillarsofwellness.com, go there, give the office a call. we'll get you guys all set up. We get you set up with Vibe, so you guys can do some pelvic floor work. We get you set up with nutritional consults. We can walk you through with the detox stuff. So anything that you guys need, hit us up and we'll start walking you through it. Otherwise, have a fantastic day. Thanks for your time.